Welcome to the Intelligent Investing Podcast, where modern portfolio theory can suck it. A student of the School of Graham and Doddsville and a clergy member of the Church of Warren Buffett. Here's your host, Eric Schlein.
Hi, this is Eric Schlein. You are listening to the Intelligent Investing Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Ticker.com, TIKR.com. Ticker.com is focused on bringing institutional quality investment research tools to the individual investor. Ticker.com is powered by S&P Global Capital IQ and has coverage of 50,000 plus stocks globally with financials, estimates, valuation metrics, ownership, transcripts, news, filings, and more. You can join Ticker.com's free beta today with Ticker.com, that's TIKR.com/intelligent. There's also going to be a very powerful screener coming in the next few weeks or so stay tuned for that. I was really happy to have Ticker sponsor the show, a research platform that I use when I need to pull up financials and get 10 years of financials. If you go onto Morningstar, Yahoo, you can only get a few years unless you pay. So it's a really nifty tool. It's something I use, and any of the sponsors on my show are actually things that I endorse myself and I think are valuable to listeners. Please support the show. Please support Ticker. They're an amazing platform. Again, Ticker, TIKR.com/intelligent. It really makes a difference for them and makes a difference for me to keep the lights on. But with that ado, I want to introduce Don Chambers back on the show. This is the third time Don is on. And Don is working on a very interesting situation at the Firsthand Technology Value Fund. And he is the activist trying to shake things up over there. Don, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me on again, Eric.
So give us an update on what's the most recent news for those value investors listening, and some certainly who are into smaller companies and companies where there is an activist involved. It's always great to actually have the activist on the show. What's been going on with Firsthand Tech Value Fund? I assume you don't think things are running the way they should be.
It's a tough battle because the cards are stacked against the investor, and they're tremendously stacked in favor of the entrenched money managers and the system that they've set up. So you may recall that a year ago, my proposal to liquidate the fund was accepted, but shareholders approved it, but it was non-binding because it has to be non-binding. But there is a binding proposal you can make, which is what I made, which is to terminate the investment management contract between the fund, ticker symbol SVVC, and the investment manager, Firsthand Capital Management Incorporated. So I submitted that proposal. It's scheduled to be voted on. They held off on filing the proxy statement through the SEC. You can always see these on Edgar, SEC Edgar. They didn't. It usually comes out much earlier in March and gives you plenty of warning, but instead they did it, I think, on like the last day of April or so. And the meeting is May 25th. It's in San Jose, California. I'll be flying out there to present the proposal. But it's an uphill battle. The cards are so stacked against shareholders.
Don, why is it different this time? Why do you expect the vote would be different with a binding versus non-binding? If you won the non-binding, why would people choose differently for the binding?
This vote requires, it's really complicated, and frankly, I don't fully understand it, but it requires 2/3 vote of one size quorum, and then or 50% of all outstanding votes. There's a lot of people that don't vote. There's a lot of people who have their money in a brokerage account and they don't recommend to the broker what to do. In the last election, I think there were 2 million or so, or 2.5 million broker non-votes. Now those broker non-votes will be counted against my proposal. That's what I'm understanding. And it makes it a really difficult battle. I'm convinced if every shareholder voted, it would be a landslide. In fact, the way I counted it, my previous proposal won something like 2.5 to 1 or something. And if you took out the insider votes, which could never be larger, they all voted against it, I think. But if they did vote against it and you took those out, it was 8 to 1. I believe that 8 out of every 9 shareholders who looked at it voted for it. And I think the same thing will happen this time, except the question is, will there be enough voters out there to pull it off? The fund is now selling at about a 60% discount.
And what's the market cap right now?
Market cap in terms of market value, There's almost 7 million shares at over $6, so it's up to around 40 or 50 million. It's been as low as 30 million or lower. That's the actual market value. The net asset value that underlies the fund is closer to 100 million. Okay. But we have to take that with a grain of salt for two big reasons. One is it's an estimate, and who knows if the good assets could actually be sold at that. But the second thing is that there's something important standing between the investor and the investor's money. And that is an entrenched management team that is making huge annual fees, $2, $3, $4 million a year for advising this fund. And these closed-end funds, and in particular BDCs, which are a type of closed-end fund, they are gold to the people who are managing them. And they don't want to give them up. They don't want to pay big dividends. They just want to keep their party going.
Yeah. Don, I wish you the best. And is there anyone else that's helping you out with this, or are you the lone activist?
I'm a lone wolf on this one, but I'd ask your audience that if you know anybody that's a shareholder owner of SVVC, Sam Victor Charlie, the firsthand technology value fund, to say that they need to vote. And if they want to know why I'm voting for my proposal, I'd be happy to talk to every one of them individually.
And what's the best way for them to contact you if they want to ask you questions?
My email address would be the best way. It's my full name, Donald R. Chambers @gmail.com. Donald R for Robert Chambers, Donald R. Chambers @gmail.com.
All right, Don, I will put this up and I will spread the word. And I wish you the most success with this shareholder proposal. And you'll have to let us know how things go.
Oh, I will. Thanks for having me on, Eric.
Of course. Have a good day. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Intelligent Investing Podcast with Eric Schlein. If you'd like to connect with Eric for questions, comments, feedback, ideas, or to inquire about being on the show, please contact Eric at intelligentinvesting@gmail.com. So, in the words of Charlie Munger, I have nothing to add.